3 in the morning. You're not dreaming. Something grabs your calf muscle and squeezes it like a fist, hard enough to snap you wide awake. Hard enough that you have to throw the covers back, sit on the edge of the bed, and press your foot flat against the cold floor just to make it stop. You lie back down, your heart is pounding, your leg is still sore, and somewhere in the back of your mind you think, this is just what getting older feels like. I'm 83, and for years I thought the same thing. I want to tell you what I found out. Because those cramps at 3 in the morning are not random. They are not just dehydration. They are not just potassium. And they are not simply aging. There is a specific mechanism running in your legs while you sleep, one that most people are never told about. And once I understood it, I found one habit, 4 minutes before bed, that changed what my nights looked like. Not a pill, not a stretch you have to hold for 20 minutes. 4 minutes of something simple. And the part that surprised me most was why it works, because the reason connects directly to your blood sugar. That is what this is really about. Let me start with the part nobody explains. Most people think leg cramps happen because a muscle runs out of something. Water, salt, a mineral. And that is part of it. But here's what gets left out of that conversation. The muscles in your calves and your feet are fed by some of the smallest blood vessels in your body. Tiny, hair thin. And those small vessels are extraordinarily sensitive to one thing: chronically elevated blood sugar. Not a blood sugar spike after a bad meal. Chronic, day after day, month after month, year after year. Research has consistently linked prolonged high blood sugar to what happens inside those small vessels. The glucose reacts with proteins in your vessel walls in a process researchers call glycation. Over time, this produces compounds. Researchers refer to them as advanced glycation end products that stiffen vessel walls, narrow the channels, and reduce blood flow through the smallest passages in your body. The peripheral nerves, particularly the ones running into your feet and lower legs, are the first to feel that reduction. And your calf muscles, which depend on those small vessels staying open and flexible overnight, are among the first places where that reduced flow shows up as pain. A review published in Diabetes Care specifically identified this mechanism as a root driver of the peripheral nerve and vascular changes that occur in people with blood sugar issues. It is not mysterious. It is not untreatable. It is a circulation and nerve problem that begins with sugar, and it does its worst work between midnight and 4 in the morning, when your body temperature drops, your blood moves more slowly, and those already compromised vessels are doing their quietest, most vulnerable work. Your doctor knows about neuropathy and circulation. What your doctor may not have had time to explain is what you can do about the overnight window specifically. A standard appointment runs 8 to 12 minutes. There is time to check your numbers, adjust a prescription, and move to the next patient. There is not time to walk through what is happening to your calves at 3 a.m. and what 4 minutes before you turn out the light could do about it. That gap is what I am going to close right now. If your feet burn at night, or go numb, or feel cold no matter how many socks you wear, please don't ignore it. I almost did, and I'm 80 years old. For years I told myself it was just age, the tingling, the heaviness in my legs climbing the stairs. But it wasn't age. It was my blood sugar quietly damaging the nerves and the circulation in my legs, and almost nobody warned me in time. If you let it keep going, those little signals turn into something you can't undo. I wasn't willing to lose my feet or my independence. So I started doing one thing every single day to help support healthy blood sugar and protect my legs. I'll show you exactly what in this video. And if you want the simple support I personally use, there's a free presentation linked in the description below. Here is the habit. And I want to explain the mechanism before I describe the movement, because the mechanism is why it works. And if you understand why, you will actually do it. When your muscles move, even gently, even slowly, they activate a protein inside your muscle cells called GLUT4. You may have heard about insulin and how it acts like a key that opens your cells to glucose. GLUT4 is a different door entirely. Muscle contraction opens it independently, no insulin required, no pancreas involved. The moment your calf muscles start working, that transporter activates and pulls glucose out of your bloodstream and into the muscle tissue directly. The blood sugar that was sitting in your circulation, waiting, stiffening the small vessel walls in your legs, it moves. It gets used. Researchers studying this transporter have established that even low-intensity muscle activity is sufficient to trigger this independent glucose uptake pathway. This means that 4 minutes of simple movement before bed, movement that pumps the calf muscle, is not just stretching. It is clearing. You are using a biological mechanism that operates completely outside the insulin system to lower the glucose load in your bloodstream at the exact moment your small vessels are most vulnerable. Here's what I do. I sit on the edge of my bed. I do ankle circles, one foot, then the other, 10 rotations each direction. Slow, controlled. Then I stand at the bedpost and do calf raises, both feet, heels up, heels down. 20 repetitions, deliberately. I feel the muscle working. Then I sit back down and I do it one more time. 4 minutes total. No mat, no equipment, no gym clothes, just the edge of my bed and 4 minutes of intention before I turn out the light. The pump action of the calf muscle also activates what physiologists call the venous muscle pump, the same mechanism your legs use during walking to push blood back up toward the heart. When you sit or lie still all evening, that pump is off. Blood pools slightly in the lower legs. Vessels slow. Muscles get less of what they need. 4 minutes of deliberate calf work before sleep restarts that pump right before the overnight window begins. Now, the habit works best as part of a system, and there are 2 things I added alongside it that I want you to know about, because the movement addresses the glucose in your bloodstream at bedtime, but the rest of the night needs support too. The first is magnesium. Research suggests that a significant portion of people managing blood sugar issues have lower magnesium levels than ideal, and magnesium is directly involved in how nerves fire and how muscles relax after a contraction. When magnesium is low, the signal that tells a muscle to release after it contracts becomes less reliable. That is part of what a cramp is, a muscle that contracted and could not get the signal to let go. I eat 1 square of dark chocolate, 70% cacao or higher, after dinner most evenings. The USDA's own food data confirms that a single ounce of dark chocolate at that concentration contains around 64 milligrams of magnesium. It is not a supplement, it is real food, it costs under $1 a day, and it is something I actually look forward to. Talk to your doctor about your magnesium levels. It is a simple blood test, and it is worth asking for. The second is the temperature in your bedroom. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism has shown that even a single night of disrupted sleep, waking at 3 a.m., lying restless, falling back under, increases insulin resistance measurably the following day. Your body needs to drop its core temperature to reach the deep sleep stage where metabolic restoration happens. A room above 70 degrees works against that. I keep my bedroom at 66. A programmable thermostat set before 9 in the evening. That small change, combined with the 4-minute habit, changed the quality of my nights in a way I did not expect. And the last piece is dinner. Protein first. When you anchor your evening meal with eggs, cottage cheese, grilled fish, before any starch, before any bread, your gut releases a hormone called GLP-1 that slows how fast glucose enters your bloodstream after the meal. The glucose rise is gentler, more gradual. By the time you're doing your 4 minutes at the bedpost, the blood sugar from dinner is already lower than it would have been if the meal had started with carbohydrates. The habit and the meal work together. I want to tell you about a woman whose situation I recognized immediately when she described it to me. Doris, 79 years old. Retired school teacher from a small town in Alabama. She had managed her blood sugar for 16 years, careful about her diet, faithful with her medication. And still, 2 or 3 times a week, something woke her between 2 and 4 a.m., and the cramp in her left calf was bad enough that her husband would hear her gasp. She had mentioned it to her doctor. She was told to drink more water, eat a banana, consider potassium. She did all of it. The cramps continued. When she added the 4-minute bedtime movement and the magnesium from her diet, her pattern began to shift. The cramps did not disappear overnight, but within a few weeks the frequency dropped, and on the nights she did wake, the cramp was shorter and less severe. She told me later, I did not realize my legs were trying to tell me something about my blood sugar. I thought they were just old legs. They are not old legs. They are legs that were not getting what they needed overnight. Doris's experience is the kind of pattern I have observed again and again. Not a miracle, a mechanism. And mechanisms respond to the right input. If you made it this far, you already understand more about your own legs than most people your age ever will. That matters. You know now that the burning, the numbness, the cold feet, they trace back to one thing: blood sugar slowly working against your nerves and circulation. And you know the goal isn't a miracle. It's protecting your ability to stand, to walk, to stay independent. That's why, alongside everything I showed you today, I use a simple daily support to help keep my blood sugar in a healthy range, so my legs keep carrying me where I want to go. I put the free presentation in the description below. Go watch it. And as always, keep working with your doctor. This supports your routine. It doesn't replace it. I'm not telling you to stop anything your doctor has prescribed. What I am telling you is that the habit I described tonight, the 4-minute calf routine, the magnesium from real food, the cooler room, the protein-first dinner, these address the overnight window that your medication was never specifically designed to reach. They work on different mechanisms. They're not competing with your treatment, they are completing it. And the person who built this system alongside their doctor's care is the person who starts sleeping through the night again. If you are someone who believes your body can still respond, who believes that understanding how something works is more powerful than just hoping it gets better, then the next step is in the description below. What is there goes deeper into the overnight system. What happens to your blood sugar between midnight and 6 in the morning? Why your morning number is often the most misleading reading of the day, and the specific protocol that builds on everything I showed you tonight. The link is below this video. Before you do anything else, drop a number in the comments. Your age and how many nights a week the cramps wake you. Just that. I read every comment on this channel, and I want to know where people are starting. Because you are not alone in this. And this is not just what getting older feels like. Not anymore. Think for a moment about the older adults you know. The ones who still move through the world with something intact. Who get up without bracing themselves. Who walk to the end of the block without dreading the return. Who sleep through the night and wake up with something left in them. And the ones who don't. Who lie awake. Who hold the railing. Who canceled the things they used to love because the nights started costing them too much. The difference between those two groups is rarely dramatic. It is built in the quiet hours, in what they gave their body at the edge of the bed before the light went out. 4 minutes. That is where it starts, and you can start tonight.